let's try one last time. I am really hoping this is live now. I'm going to go with a third time lucky. I have just set it all back up again, but I can't actually see anything on here. So this should be broadcasting to the Facebook page and it should be broadcasting to my page. So I have had to run in and steal my partner's phone because we don't actually have Wi-Fi in this temporary studio at the moment. So I'm going to talk to you as if it's live, and hopefully I can just see it pop up on here. Yay! I think we're all good. Okay, I can see it's working. So, right, evening everybody. I'm sorry it's so late. So what's happened is, for those of you that are following myself and the progress of the studio build, is that this little summer house is my temporary I can't even say the word, it's going to be a good video, isn't it, today? My temporary studio. So because the main studio is almost ready, there's a lot to be done inside. So we've got all the electrics to be done, but the power had to be cut down here and the Wi-Fi is not connected as yet. So my other half is an electrician and he's been working so hard in the background. So he's got the power on in here, and I thought I could do it all with 4G, and it turns out you could, but then I couldn't see anything on the app that I'm using to see that I'm live. I can't interact with anybody. I can't see what's going on, and I hadn't quite factored that one in. So I'm very sorry, but I'm hoping, really hoping that lots of you now have not given up. But either way, you can watch this back, and if you are watching back, then apologies for it not being so smooth as my usual videos. Right, so I'm going to have a little check on here. Yes. Right, awesome. Right, let me just silence this one. I don't even know how to silence his phone. Oh, I can't see it. I think my mind has just gone absolutely done for now. Okay, so I'm going to leave this live so I can see everything is working. So usually what I would do is actually film the Facebook Live, and I would actually have another phone set up which would also film from above down below. So I'm unable to do that tonight, but I really wanted to come on today to be able to talk to you about all the things that have been going on. There's so many updates, some really exciting updates and lots to tell you. So I thought, let's do a live and let's talk armholes where I don't actually have to be filming from above, but if I do need to, I'm going to just flip you up, hopefully. So I have a list I'm going to run through. Now then, for those of you that have joined me and maybe have joined the Facebook group since the NEC, the Sewing for Pleasure show, then I'd like just to do a very quick little intro, which is what I usually do at the start of the Facebook Lives. And just in case you are not sure what you are watching or who you're watching, my name is Helen Rhiannon, and the main reason why a lot of you know about me is because of this little book, Dressmaking, the Easy Guide. Now, the book came out last June and it is still proving really hugely popular because the main focus of the book is teaching you how to make clothes that fit and flatter your unique shape. So the book was sold out for pretty much since it came out in June 2023, and finally now the book is in stock, which is really exciting. So it's now available in places like John Lewis, Waterstones, lots of independent bookshops everywhere, which is brilliant. And obviously I have stock finally this year, so which is really good. Now, again, those of you that have joined from the NEC, you'll have to excuse a little bit of a mess in the background today, but it is half term. I do have a 4-year-old little boy, which means that planning a Facebook Live during half term was a little bit crazy, but I thought, why not? Let's go for it. So apologies for the change of time, but again, it's just been able to just fit everything in that I need to do during the half term. So, couple of things I'm going to run through, just pretty much a news update really for you all, and to just let you know what is going on behind the scenes, because I started doing the Facebook Lives last year, and when I came back on, I think I did one in January, and this is only the second one of this year. The reason being is there is a big old build going on in the garden, which is my new studio, which is really exciting. I've also been updating the website, which I'll talk to you about in a sec as well. And as well as that, I obviously prepping for the NEC Sewing for Pleasure show, which was absolutely fantastic. And I'm really hoping I can get this all worked today, because I've put it on a different angle and it just seems different today, which is typical when technology is not on your side. So I'm very mindful of the time, so I'm going to try and whiz through the updates so that you can all get to see a little bit about what's going on. And I'm going to try and keep an eye, if I could, this is muted, which is good. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the phone, so any comments coming through I can see in the Facebook group. I can't see them on my All Sewn Up page, but I can see them in the Facebook group. So if you do have any comments, any questions, they do tend to go quite fast, but if there is anything and I catch it, I will try and answer as best I can. I will be streaming these live into YouTube from now on and onto my page. I can't do all three and include the group as well, but that's something that I'll cover next time. But just keep an eye out when the lives go on and I'll point you in the right direction. Okay, so new website. Now I have to see if I can get all of this working. See, I can't see what on earth I had before. It all made much more sense before, and now it's all disappeared. Nope, that's disappeared. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to try something and I'm going to show you a little bit about the new website. So this is the new website, which is very exciting, allsewnupwales.co.uk. On the website, there is everything about myself, and it's very much all about the book now. So you can really have a clear idea of what I do, my background, and buying the book, the online videos, the courses that I run. So this is where you can go onto the website and you can actually subscribe onto my YouTube channel. And you can even have a look at what I used to do. Not used to do, I still do it, but as a bespoke designer, there's a little gallery of some of my favourite dresses that I've created over the last handful of years. So, oh, I'm in the corner. Oh, I'm just going to run with this tonight. This is definitely one of those crazy ones. So there's lots more now on the website, which is really exciting. And it's really 100% all about Dressmaking the Easy Guide. So that's where you need to go to buy any equipment, any calico, any starter kits with pattern masters, anything that you might possibly need, videos, the tutorials, mailing list, etc. is all on the website, which is really, really good. Okay, the next thing, just to give you a little reminder, that the All Sewn Up YouTube channel, if you subscribe to that, then any videos going forward, and there are lots planned, which is something I'll tell you about soon. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you can watch these live and also watch them back as well, which would be really good. They do get a little lost in the Facebook group and also on the page. So everything instead will be nice and easy for you to find on the YouTube channel. Just seeing any comments on here as well. Brilliant. Oh, good. I'm glad so many of you are tuned in. Okay, and what I would like to show you as well is, oh gosh, I don't really want me in this one now as well, but we'll just go back to, it's one of those. Oh goodness, it's all going Pete Tong, isn't it? Okay, we'll just go to this one. Right, so you would think I've done lots of these before, but I had Wi-Fi and two phones, so one phone makes it a lot harder. But at least you get to see it's the real me. This is how I roll. This is fine. So I'm going to show you the highlights of the NEC. So recently I attended the NEC. Now, when the book came out, I went to Exeter, which was September. I then attended the Creative Craft Show in the NEC in November, which was amazing. And Sewing for Pleasure in March was also absolutely fantastic. And I met so many new people, and so many people came from the group. So if you are a member of Dressmaking the Easy Guide group and you want to find someone local to you, the website, I am slowly putting on all of the group information. So again, that's on the website. And so it will be a directory for you to help to find some local people who are working through the book. The best thing about the NEC was so many ladies came and said, I'm part of this group and I'm part of this group. And it was just incredible to know that there's, as someone worded it, there's like a movement, and this movement is being created with the book. And I'm so proud of that. So I'm going to show you a little recap of the NEC, and you can also see the fabulous fabulous volunteers who actually were brave enough to step up onto the catwalk. So this is about a minute long, so I'm just going to show you this. So if you didn't see it on my oh goodness, my brain's not working recently, I'm going to share it to you now. So here we go. So there you have it. That was a little recap of the truly fantastic time that I had at the NEC, and Charlotte, my helper, came along and she was just phenomenal. She did all my social media, she did filming of the catwalk, she even got on the catwalk in the beautiful red dress, and there's a full film of the catwalk on my social media which we'll post onto YouTube as well. So that is a catwalk of inspiration for any of you who are new to the dressmaking journey and are worrying whether you can make something to fit you and your unique self. Then yes, you can, because thank you to my beautiful models who demonstrated that's exactly what you can do. And one of the highlights from I think the comments was after the catwalk show, a lady came up to me and she said, oh, I could never do that because I'm not, I couldn't do it, my size. And then she said, but actually all of the models you had were slim. And then she said, well, actually, they were all very different sizes, but the clothes looked really flattering. And I think that's a really key thing, that you can make clothes that fit and flatter. And that is the real key thing about Dressmaking the Easy Guide. It teaches you how to alter patterns, how to make a block that fits your body, and then you are the designer and you can run with it. So hopefully there'll be more catwalks in the future. So if any of you are thinking, oh, I might fancy getting on the catwalk, then I will be asking lots of you in the future to jump on board. Now, there's also, so the next shows that I will be doing this year are Ali Pali in October, which is in London in Alexandra Palace, which is the Stitch Festival. And then I will also be doing in November, hopefully, the Creative Craft Show at the NEC. So there's 2 opportunities to come along and meet me then, and hopefully get yourself on the catwalk if we can do it there as well. And I might attend, not as an official attendee, but I might go along to the Festival of Quilts, I think in August, because I've never been, so I'd quite like to do that. So if anybody is going, let me know, and maybe I can come and meet you all at Festival of Quilts. I will see about that. What else was I going to say? So also, I think the big thing that I had from the NEC is there's definitely a really fantastic demographic of women, especially because obviously the book is aimed at dressmaking. And it would be really, really interesting to see, I think, those of you who are younger as well coming through and showing what you're doing, because I think we've got the dressmaking covered for I'd say kind of 40 plus, really, 45 plus. So everyone is hugely inspiring each other, which is absolutely brilliant. And it'd be really lovely to see younger faces as well. So if you are in the group and you're watching the Facebook Live and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to make something that you want to share in the group, please feel free. I'd love to see a whole demographic of women that the book is reaching. So it's really widespread, would be fantastic. Okay. The other big news is I will be filming an online version of the book with Search Press, which I am hugely excited about. As lots of you know that who followed me since the book came out, my life has just suddenly become this really super fast roller coaster that I'm constantly trying to keep up with. And the courses that I run are all full, which is amazing. It's really exciting and I'm really flattered and I'm really humbled by it. And it really is truly fantastic. But unfortunately, I can't actually keep up with demand and I can't do as many courses as I would like to do, not only because I have a 4-year-old, but it's physically impossible. I will be looking to set some weekday courses very soon, and once the studio is up and running, etc. But I'm hoping that the online version of the book will be a really affordable stopgap for those that need that extra help, but can't actually get to me in person in Wales. So fingers crossed, watch this space. There's lots of talk going on in the background, and that's why I've been kind of head down for the last couple of months, been to and fro with how to make this happen. And thank goodness Search Press are the most amazing publishers and are fully on board, and we'll be keeping you posted. Just having a little look at some of the comments on here. So lots of you are watching, which is great. This is the Armhole and Sleeves Live. I will be doing that next, so I'll be going through a few little bits as I go through. And what someone asked, how did you start out as your first pattern piece, first piece of clothing? GCSE, first bit of clothing was my GCSE projects. Very first thing I made with my lovely textiles teacher, Mrs. Shepherd. She stood me in very good stead. So, right, so I won't be going too much because I'm late. I'm going to try and speed up a little bit with this. What else did I want to tell you about? Please join the mailing list for the new courses that I will be running. And then Facebook Lives going forward. Now, this is something I'm really excited about. I've been thinking long and hard since January about how to take these Facebook Lives forward. And obviously, if there will be an online course, then I don't want to be doubling up with content. And I want the course to be very streamlined and simple. And therefore, it'd be much easier to have that than to be in and out of bitty videos. What I'm planning to do is to be using inspiration maybe that all of you see. So when you see garments in the shop, or you see like a pattern that you like, and you're thinking, how can I create that from my block? So when you have your skirt front and back and your bodice front and back and your sleeve, how do you get from there to the whole host of garments that are around us, and also commercial patterns as well? So what I will be asking you to send me ideas, and I'll be doing some posts about this so you can all post pictures underneath, and I will be picking one or a few of them to demonstrate how to pattern draft key features of your suggestions, so that you can see the journey from your block to a different garment, and something that's different to the book as well, because the book is just scraping the surface of pattern cutting. But when you think every single garment that is created, bar trousers, starts with a block, and that's once you have the block that fits you, you can make a whole host of garments. So this could be loose, flattering, floor length halter neck dresses, big floaty maxi dresses, a really beautiful fitted, even boleros, coats. You can make like a shirt, so you can have it the other way, so the opening is at the back and it comes to the front. You can copy and replicate all different types of sleeves out there, and hopefully what I want to do is to inspire you all to think, how can you take your blocks further? And that's what I'm going to be doing. So some will be quite simple, some will be maybe a bit more advanced, and that's the plan. So watch out for some posts within the group and on my page for inspiration, and then you can all send me what you think. So if you see a garment somewhere and you think, I want that, how do I do it? Save the picture now, and then when I ask for those pictures, you can post them, and then I will pick, as I said, what I can, and I will do a physical demonstration with a small block, so like a miniature size block, so I can show you quite quickly and quite fluidly how you can make that block into the garment. So I'm hoping that you'll be quite excited to watch that and to learn from the Facebook Live, so it will give you something extra as well. So that is what I'm thinking. So the next thing, oh my gosh, it's already 7:15. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go through sleeves. Okay, so let me just check, is that everything I was going to show you on here? Right, I have some photos on here. So what I tend to do with the Facebook Lives, I do a demonstration. I talk through something that will benefit you all with your blocks. And lots of this will be covered when obviously the course is filmed, but it will be quite kind of condensed and quite neat. But it's something where sleeves are something that every time I do a course, the fit of the sleeve is really, really important. And it's something that can really affect the garment. So I'm going to talk about each of these. So again, I have my list here. So what I would like to go through, and say, bearing in mind, I'm usually more slick than this, but it is half term, so you will have to to just run with this. Okay, what I would like to show you first of all is on the calico. So I'm hoping this little lady can come over here, and I'm going to lift her up so you can see what I have. Okay, so this is the calico toile that you would have seen in the book. And what I've done here is just left the armhole loose as it is, and I'm just going to talk through what your armholes should look like, because you want the armhole to be comfortable, you don't want it pulling, and you want it to fit quite snug. And sleeves used to be something I used to find quite frustrating, especially when I had bridal fittings. I would fit everything of the bodice and then add in those sleeves, and trying to add a well-fitted sleeve without it affecting the garment too much is something that's quite difficult. So I'm going to run through this little part now with you. When you think about your body, now bearing in mind she hasn't got obviously shoulders, and this is why I've worn this dress in particular, because this is what you're looking at here, is where you actually have, if I turn her, yes, that way. So if you think your arm would actually come over here, which is this part of me. So looking at the mannequin, it's quite useful to see that this is what you want to sculpt around, your actual point of the shoulder. So in the book, when I talk about a shoulder check, this is what I'm referring to. So this is making sure that on some people, and this is quite well fitted on here, but for some people, this might actually fit, like I've come too far over, and it means that your sleeve and the seam for the sleeve will slip off your shoulder. Or I think most people have to cut some off, but you might need to actually add some in if you've got quite broad shoulders. We're all different, and the important thing is it fits you and your body. So you want the actual sleeve hole of this to fit, if you imagine, the bony bit that's coming around, not the actual arm. Now, what you're also looking for is, if you think about a sleeve, I'm going to show you some of the real women from the courses I've shown you, and I've just zoomed into their armholes. If I show you how to alter using the steps of the book, it starts with lifting your shoulders up. So if you've made your toile and you're finding that all of this is very, very loose, now it'll be more exaggerated in the photos that I show you, but the first step I do on every single fitting is to pinch the shoulders, and that is to take away any excess that's on the front. So if I turn it around there, any excess on the front here, by lifting those shoulders, that will take that fullness out of there. Okay, so it's the very first thing I would do. The next step would be to look at under the arm, and if that's really, really baggy, then I would take some of that from under the arm. Now, you don't want it to be tight, but you'll see quite easily, if there's a lot of excess, you'll find there'll be a lot of fabric gaping under your armhole, and you don't want that. So you want to just take the excess away so that it fits comfortably to you and isn't tight. So once you do those two alterations there, some of you will be lucky and that will be all you need to do. Some of you may have the gaping armhole. That is also covered in the book, and that is, for those of you that have done the courses with me will know that I get very excited about a gaping armhole, because it's the magic of pattern cutting. It allows you to alter your pattern to fit you really beautifully and perfectly around your bust and your top half of your body. and something where commercial patterns, I don't know any single commercial pattern that will show you how to get that right or how to get the armhole right, and then it means you have a garment that doesn't really flatter you very well. So if you do have to do the gaping armhole, what that is if you have the fullness around here, and it's a case of pinning this little part in to make that armhole fit better around the front, okay? The back, sometimes having a little bit of gape around the back is good if you are putting in a sleeve, because it gives you a little bit more movement when you have a sleeve on. If you find that there's too much gape on the back, then you can either see if you can address it with pinching up the shoulder, or you could always pinch a little more off the back one to allow it to fit. If you have to put a little shoulder dart at any point to take any fullness away, you can, but this is meant to be the easy guide, so we're trying to keep it quite simple so that you can make something that looks beautiful. Just remember, you are not making garments that fit your body within an inch of its life or a millimetre of its life, because a corset is the only thing you could do that will make sure that it really sculpts your body and won't have any pulls on fabric. So if you do have pulls that are happening down here, that's normal. That is the nature of your body being in a garment. The calico is not as forgiving. It's good to manipulate, but don't worry if there's pulls. As long as it's not tight across your bust, you shouldn't, hopefully, majority of you won't need to do a full bust alteration, because it might just be that you take out. And it's a slightly different way to the full bust alteration. Instead of doing a cup size or the bust that's too small for you and adding it in, instead you're making sure that this measurement around your bust fits you and everything else is sculpted in around to fit. So I'm going to show you some of the pictures on here now. So I'm just going to have a little run through these as well. So yes, I'm just having a look what everyone's saying. Will there be a cost for the course? There will be a cost, but Search Press are really adamant they want it to be affordable. So we're hoping it'll be under £100, which I think for the book in a whole entire course of, I think, 10 hours plus would be really, really good. So yeah, it's really exciting. Let me mute myself on here again because I don't want to hear that. Okay. So I'm going to show you some of the pictures that are from the courses. So what you'll see, this is one of them. So you can see on the left there, there's a lot of kind of fullness around the top of the armhole. So that was quite a simple one that's just taken in under the arms. But can you see the bust already fits better on this one just by taking under the arm and a little pinch on the shoulder? Okay, I'm going to show you the next one. Again, you can see that on the left, the armhole is just quite wide. So before you start altering too much on there, it was a case of pinching up the shoulders, taking the excess under the arm, and then the gaping armhole. So taking that fullness out to the front. So another one to show you, and hopefully you'll see the pattern developing, that to make that armhole fit you better, it's those 3 alterations that will really, really help you and your toile. So here's another one a little bit more exaggerated. You can see it's just way too big on the armhole, and I'll address what that means as well in a sec. But as you say, pinching the shoulders, under the side seams, under the armpit, and then that gaping armhole. And this is a really good one. I think this is just really clear to see what needs to be done. And you can see it just fits everything a lot better when you take in under that arm and the side seam. It allows you to sculpt everything a lot better. Now, something I want to just cover is this one. So this may happen as well. So when you do take that gape from just, alongside your arm, you might find that, you can see your bra. And this is what I just want to show you quickly, is you are in charge of actually reshaping your armhole. Really, really important that you don't go with what the pattern is and as final, you're in charge. And so I'll show you what that means in a sec. But also, this is one where someone was really struggling with the actual armhole, and you can see where they've drawn the pink lines on there to say, this wasn't fitting. But what you see, the seam between those 2 pink lines is really far back from her arm. So what I was saying about the mannequin, and imagine you're drawing like an imaginary circle round your armpit, it needs to be snug to your arm on the top. So I'm going to talk through those points, bearing in mind these 2 here in particular. Okay, so the front there is showing your bra, and the back here there's too much width in the actual armhole itself. So here's a few finished armholes to show you as well. So you can see that there isn't excess around the actual front of the armhole where the bust is. That should fit nice and snug to your arm itself. Okay, so a few examples there for you. Now, the others I'm not going to show you just yet, but I'm going to go back to me for a sec. And this is what you were looking for. You are looking for, if I just pin around here, so you can see this is where you have problems when you've got all of this going on. So what you're trying to do is just sculpt this. See how easily that happens when take that in there and when you take in under the armhole. And this is a very quick demo for now of just showing how quickly that reshapes all of this. Now where you have the armhole here, if I place the pattern, this is a slightly smaller version, but if you find on here that your armhole is too far here, so if we imagine the arm is here and there's too much showing, so your bra is showing down here, then on the pattern, okay, if I hold that there, this is the front armhole. If I put it this way, you can see the dart, so you've got some reference points as well. Then you just fill this gap in here. So what you don't do is add all the way around the armhole, because you'll add onto the shoulder, which is what you don't want. What you are doing is drawing a new line that comes and just fills this section in, so that you have maybe adding 1 centimetre, 2, but you add where you need it, and then you blend up to the existing lines and below. So if you were to watch the gaping armhole video that's on YouTube, that demonstrates how to fill that gap in if you can see your bra and it's too far forward for you. So that's a really nice one to show because it's filmed from above. And so this is kind of a bit of a talk you through it, because I haven't got the ability to flip you over and I don't want to make you all dizzy. Okay, something to bear in mind on the back, although I might do it in a sec, we'll see. We're nearly there. Okay, so this is the back armhole. And again, if you felt like it's a little bit short in the back, so what some people find is that the armhole might sit just a little bit too far back, and it means that you've just got that annoying fleshy part on the back. So there's no reason why you can't add to your pattern that way, and you can reshape this line. And it's all about making this armhole fit you and your body. You can draw, you can add, you can take away. And what you are looking for is this top half, if you imagine, this top half of the arm should fit you nice and snug on there. So into that part, okay? The underneath bit is the next thing, which is quite important. So if you take your armhole too close to right under your armpit there, and I've done this on one of my dresses, I feel that on, I'll bring her over in a sec. Let's see if she can fit in. This is my mimicking mannequin, which I'm going to show you. Now I haven't put her very high, but I'm hoping you can just see from there. So this is my mannequin. This is my body on here. So I'm just going to get to fit this way a little bit. So what I have found that on myself, this is actually cutting into the back of my arm. So if you imagine on here, it's just too close to the actual arm there. So what I have done since this, I've actually scooped down and made the armpit lower. Okay, so if you imagine, if this was on here, it would just be too tight to that silver circle there. So instead, by taking it lower underneath here, that gives you more room under your arm. You don't want to add more room that way, because then you get the picture where it was pulling. Keep it snug to your arm, and then if you want a little bit more room, just drop it down if you feel it's cutting into your armpit. And that's a really good kind of picture to show you how your armhole should work and your fit to your sleeve. So this was the dress that I did afterwards. There's room underneath here. There's much more room for me to actually move with the sleeves. So it does take sometimes a little bit of trial and error for you to actually get those sleeves fitting you comfortably. But at any point it feels too tight, then you can just cut away your armhole in small increments. And if you feel it's way too loose, or your whole garment is pulling, let's do it from the side. If your whole garment is sitting back here, and if you imagine as soon as you move your sleeve, it's coming from the wrong place. It needs to fit right in the snug of your arm. So I hope that makes sense. I will show you a very, very quick little demo if this works. Fingers crossed. So let me just get this bit of paper. So I'm going to flick the phone down. So I'm really, really hoping, I'm going to put this upside down. So hopefully everything will still be the right way around for you. This may be a little bit of trial and error because, oops, Daisy, because I have my laptop here and everything, which clearly doesn't work. So I'm going to move that around. Okay. So hold on tight, I'm going to flip you down. So I'm going to do it this way, so hopefully, there we go. If I do that, then I can just about see the screen as well. So what you have here, this is the back, okay, so it's a lot straighter. And then this is the front, that if they are sewn together on the side seam, you have a much deeper curve on the front. Because if you think your arms only move forward, they don't move backwards. So therefore you don't need such a deep shape on the back. You need it to be quite straight. But the front, because your arm moves forward, you have much more of a scoop. So your armholes shouldn't look the same. They should look something like this. They may differ with people where they might look a little bit like this. They might be a little bit wider. But the main thing is you have a straighter bit on the back and you have that curve. And that's just under that arm there. If you feel that, let me just pin this together, that you need to make some alterations, what I'm going to do is just put a pin in here. So imagine how the side seam is pinned there. I'm just going to show you what you can do if you need to sculpt it. So we'll put a little bit of paper underneath and we'll pin that in place as well. Hopefully that's clear for you to see. So usually I'd have another phone so it's much easier to see everything. So when I'm fully set up in the new studio, it will be super exciting to do these videos. Okay, so what you can see here, if you feel that your armpit is too snug into your arm, there's no reason why you can't lower. Now that's the seam allowance, so you could lower it by 1 centimetre. If you feel that you can see your bra, like in the picture that I showed you, then there's no reason why you can't measure from your seam and you can actually add into this part around here. If you need to cut away from the shoulder, if your shoulder is sticking over the top of everything, you know, so sticking off your shoulder, so it then drops your sleeves, you have like sloping shoulders then. So if you feel that you need to take a little bit off your shoulder, then whatever you do here, you also need to do here. So I'm pretending that the armhole's too high, it's also showing the bra, and it's also sloping off the shoulder. So you can redraw all of this, and it's just a case of joining up all of these sections here. And if you're going down here and you want that a bit lower, then it's making a nice smooth line that runs all the way around. Now that stays the same. Again, if you need to add a bit more into the back at all, this is where it happens. But for this one, for example, it's a case of, oh, I've gone from the seam allowance there. It's a case of going up here. So it's just mapping this out. So what I've done here, because I've got seam allowance on, this is what I'm confusing myself with slightly. So I'm just going to rub, if I can find a rubber, hang on. I'm going to write on here what we're doing so it makes a bit more sense. So let me just rub this out. So the joys of doing it upside down, round and round. Okay, so we're going to lower, now this is going to be upside down, okay, this is for my brain. Lower by 1 centimetre from this point, okay, so this is your seam allowance. We are going to extend this by, say, 1.5 to cover the bra, but we are also going to take away ½ centimetre off the shoulder, okay, so minus 0.5. So it just shows you how, if we're going to lower that down by 1, which goes from there to there, extend this by 1.5, which goes from there to there, and then from here we're taking a bit off. So that should make a little bit more sense to you now. I'm going to draw this with a pen. So we are going under the arm, covering the bra, taking a little bit off the shoulder, pretty much joining all of those markings together. Okay, once you've done that, you would then keep that under the arm. You'd rejoin to your seam allowance, and if you think this one, we're also taking it back 1/2 centimetre. So we take this up, okay, and then you would add your seam allowance onto that new one. So I'm going to do that as well, so you can see what you're allowed to do, because I think that's the tricky thing. Sometimes you think you shouldn't do certain things. This is also for those of you that aren't sure how you should use your pattern master. This inside part of the pattern master is when this comes into play, and you just want a nice smooth armhole. So at any point you feel like it's a little bit just looks a little bit strange, or it's like the curves are too sharp or not, just, you know, just think natural, just think your body has got natural curves, and that's what you're trying to copy. So this would be your new armhole. Okay, so you can see there's more there, it's sitting a bit lower, and you've chopped off the edge of the shoulders. So that hopefully shows you that you are in control of making this your own. Okay, so I'm going to lift this back up. Here we are. Ta-da! I'm really hoping that makes sense to you, and those of you that can have a look at your toiles, how it fits your armhole, where you can add in, where you can take away, where you can drop it down. And just remember, you want it nice and neat around the top of your arm up here, and you can lower accordingly. Last few things to bear in mind: if you think that you are making a dress and it's a woven dress, there's no stretch in it. If you do a long straight sleeve, you have made yourself a straight jacket, and that's the thing you need to bear in mind. If you want a long sleeve, you will need to have room in the sleeve to allow you to move, because as soon as you move your arms, your whole garment will come with you when it's long. If it's anywhere past your elbow, then again, it will get stuck in your elbow, and that's when everything starts to feel tight. So to make your life easier, go for a sleeve that has room in the sleeve, so the slash and spread method. Give yourself room in the sleeve itself to be able to move your arms. Think about if it's a cap sleeve, then you don't want it sitting too high up, but again, you want to be comfortable. You want to be able to lift without the whole dress coming up with you. Okay, so have a play. Think about underneath under here. If it's too tight, don't be afraid to scoop it down 1 centimetre and just try it a little bit lower. And if you've got gathering in the sleeve head, then that gives you room to play and to actually still use the same sleeve that you've actually cut out. And you just kind of distribute your gathers. So hopefully that'll make a little bit of sense. So I'm going to have a little look at some of the comments, because what time are we? We all have to wrap up. So if you've adjusted the toile and therefore changed the armhole, so it's now a different size, the sleeve pattern, and the notches have been distorted, what should we do? So the notches, I'm a very keen notcher, but in the book, because as soon as you alter the shoulders and under the arm, the notches will never tally up with the sleeve that you trace off. So what I tell you to do is, when you have your sleeve pattern and you've measured the armhole, the finished armhole, and you've added your 2 centimetres ease, then you pick the sleeve that is nearest to that measurement. If by doing alterations like this, it's dramatically got longer, then you could go for the next sleeve up to give you more room, or think about slashing and spreading the fullness in the top part of the sleeve, which gives you plenty of room to play with, which is what I'd always do. Okay, do you put seam allowance on the sleeve? Yes, Claire, always put seam allowance on. The reason seam allowance isn't on the toile, initially I said yes, is you can see how it fits when you don't have your seam allowance on. Whereas if you add seam allowance, it means it cuts up into your arm. It gives you an unrealistic feel for how your sleeve actually fits. So I say seam allowance off for your toile, perfect that armhole, add seam allowance onto your patterns before you make your dresses. Okay, let's see if there's any on here. Hopefully this is helping. Oh, hello Wendy in Spain. Oh, lovely Wendy from the catwalk. I will probably show you everyone's outfits from that again as well. Knowing how to use my block to make changes, commercial patterns. That's what I meant to do as well, actually. And of course ran out of time. You can then, when you've perfected your armhole to fit your arm, you can then place these blocks onto commercial patterns, and you'll have much more of an idea whether there's any chance that pattern will fit your body, your arm. Also, don't be afraid to measure and measure your bicep. Okay, this is your bicep round here. Measure your bicep. There is a bicep alteration in the book if you need to extend into it. But again, the more fullness you add to a sleeve, the more comfortable it will be. But you can take that bicep measurement here and lay it across a commercial sleeve pattern to see if there's any chance of that fitting. Okay, last couple of ones on here. Will there be a cost of the course? Yes, I think I've covered that. I'm glad you like my dress. Fine. This was one that's been cut out for 6 months and I finally finished it for the NEC show. But I have so many ideas going forward. I'm hoping to make myself a whole new wardrobe and pretty much demonstrate how I do that with you all in the new studio. So then I get some new clothes because I'm still in my mum clothes since Morgan was born 4 years ago. But it will also hopefully give you a whole wealth of knowledge for what you can do with your toiles and your blocks. So any last little questions, fire them over with a gaping armhole. If you pinch in at the front of the toile, do you then create a dart on your body block or follow page 86 where you move the fullness. Watch the gaping armhole video, which is on YouTube, and that's an 8-minute video. You can watch the whole thing through. I love moving darts. It's very clever. I will do lots of things about moving darts said in these. If you send me pictures of what you want to see, how you create it, then I will show you a whole plethora of ways of adapting your toile and your blocks. Because obviously that'll be quicker than me writing another book yet, because the trouser book is next. So hopefully, that's brilliant. Hi Julian, I'm so glad you came back for your book, Julian, at the NEC. Welcome to the group. I know it was a big move for you joining the group, but I know Julian had a whole amazing response to his post when he said he joined the group and he's making dresses for his wife. But I did a lovely "you can do it" message in his book, and then he went off without his book, so we had to do a tannoy announcement to call Julian back to get his book. So yay, I'm so glad you're on here. Hi Bethan, lovely to see you, good to get a refresher. Obviously, because I'm running so many courses and fitting so many people, I've fitted people all my life doing bespoke, but because I'm doing the same fit on everybody to get that perfect block, my brain is just perfecting everything to a T as well, which is quite fun to do. So excited for the trouser book. Yes, the plan as well for the online course will actually give me time then to start writing the trouser book. So it's all very exciting. Right, so I really hope that has been useful. I don't think there's anything else I've missed on here. I'm not sure when the next live is. I'd really like to set these out going forward so you know when they are and you can put them in your diary. But we're so close to having the studio done with all the wiring, and then the internet will be in there. So it makes my life easier. It'll be lit up beautifully. I'll have everything to hand. It will be the studio of my dreams, which I'm so excited about. So stick with me, especially if you haven't watched these before. I'm usually a lot more slick in these, but as I said, it's just me. I'm very normal. I like the fact you can all watch and see how normal it is for you to have a go. So those of you that have joined recently, please keep following. There are more videos in the Facebook group under featured, but more importantly, they are all on my YouTube channel, and everything will be posted there from now on. Please go to the website and join the mailing list. So again, I'm just going to remind you of that. I'm going to put, where is it? This is the website. Okay, so this is the website, allsewnupwales.co.uk. You can see all the little tabs under there. This is where you'll find the group directory. This is where you'll find all about the book and equipment, etc., 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 all under there. And then the other thing is subscribe to All Sewn Up. It's All Sewn Up Wales, okay? Just search that for YouTube and I'll share some links afterwards. So I'm going to put a little thank you for watching. Put me back on there. Oh, there we go. You've got me there. So thank you ever so much for watching, everyone. Thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for actually coming back to catch up with the video after the technical hitches at the beginning. But I really hope, there we go, that's lovely. I'm finding all these videos so helpful. Excellent, excellent. So please keep in touch. Please send your pictures. Post anything you need on the group. I can't reply to everybody, so if you do message me on Messenger, I can't reply to everybody, and it's half term and my 4-year-old is usually hanging off my elbow, so please bear that in mind. Please post on the group and keep in touch, and just thank you all for coming on board this dressmaking journey. So I'm going to love you and leave you for now, and that's enough of me talking at you all. But thank you for joining. I look forward to seeing what you all do and hopefully progress with your armholes. Fingers crossed. Take care, everyone.